Hello everyone, my name's Danielle and this is Excalibur Books, and today we are doing a beginner's guide to getting into fantasy. Not that long ago I did a beginner's guide to getting into the horror genre, so I thought I'd do a fantasy one. I have read a lot more fantasy books than horror, so I have a bit more knowledge on fantasy. I read fantasy for a lot longer. It's what I've started reading and it's my main genre. I have more books to recommend and more knowledge about books in this genre. So let's get into the books. My first section is standalone fantasy. Now, you don't get many. Fantasy does usually come in a big series or expansive worlds. I feel like finding a standalone fantasy is good for just testing it out, so you're not investing in a massive series. One of my favourite authors for this is Margaret Rogerson, and this one is An Enchantment of Ravens. There's also a Sorcery of Thorns that I've liked, and there's another one called Vespertine, but I've not gotten to that one yet. I do need to get to that one, but they're all standalones. They're not mixed up. This cover's really shiny, so the light's really reflecting off it. But it's a beautiful cover as well. They've all got beautiful covers. And I think they might even be, they're YA as well. So YA is another good starting point. This one is about an artist who is been commissioned to paint the Fae King, if I remember right, and she paints mortal sorrow in her eyes, which is a weakness that will cost him his life. She has to stand trial for this. The story goes off from there. So it's set in the Fae world. The other one is set in a library, but I can't remember the plot of that one. But yeah, this has a bit of romance in it. The other one had a bit of romance in it, so it's a good stepping stone for romance and contemporary readers. Next on the same vein, but this isn't one that I have ventured that far into because I'm not a romance reader, and that'll be Romantasy. One that I have read, and I think it might be the only one that I've read, I can't think of romances that I've read off the top of my head, is the Fortuna Sworn series. This is an indie published version. It has now been picked up by Penguin Random House. This is an adult, but we're following Fortuna, who is is something called a nightmare. That's her species, and she is looking for her brother who's been kidnapped into the Fae realm. So again, this is a Fae fantasy, and she goes looking for him, and she makes a deal with the Fae King, I think, or Prince. I think he is the king. Oh, she was imprisoned in the goblins had captured her, imprisoned her, and he freed her. So then he said he has to marry her, and he takes her back to the Fae realm, where she continues to look for her brother. And there might be 6 or 7 books in this series now, so it is getting into a larger series, but it is a fantasy romance, so it is easier to read. Again, a good stepping stone for them romance readers. Next would be, I've got 2 more for the standalone recommendations. We have Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is a dark fairy tale type of one, so it's good for if you read more horror thriller type of books. This will be a good one to start with because it's a tad darker. T. Kingfisher does a few of these darker fairy tale type books, so she's a good author to look into. She also does horror books, and most of them are standalone. She does have a few series. In this one, our main character wants to kill the prince, so she is going out on a mission to get the tools to complete this. So she asks a grave witch for help and a fairy godmother, and she's also joined by a knight and a chicken possessed by a demon. So yeah, there's a little bit of humour in here as well. Makes for a fast read, and it's just quite short. So yeah, this one's a good standalone to start with. I really enjoyed this one, Dodger by Terry Pratchett, which is a standalone, and it's set in sort of Victorian-ish times. But there isn't a synopsis on this one. I can't really remember what it is, but it's good, very good atmosphere. And if you like historical fiction, this one will be a really good place to start. Next is like urban fantasies, which are fantasies set in our world, but just with like magical creatures and magic in our world. A series I recommend, which is one of the series I started reading in fantasy, is the Shadowhunter series by Cassandra Clare. This is not the starting point. The starting point is City of Bones, if I remember rightly. That's just in like a box set, so it was really hard to get out. So I'm holding this one up in this place, this one's a short story collection which goes at some point in the series, because this is one of the big expansive worlds made up of smaller series, but they're like in bite-sized chunks, like mostly like trilogies. Some of them can be quite chunky, but because they're set in like our world, they're easier to digest, they're easier to understand, and they're YA as well. So there's not like massive intricate political plots or anything. They're just some teenagers fighting some demons, and we just there's one set in like 2014-ish era, there's one set in like Victorian times. They're all just set in different places. Then you get characters from one series showing up in another series. It's all fun reading it. So another urban fantasy would be Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. Now this one is like Coveney witchy in small town Ireland vibes, which was really fun. I really like these type of books. There's a lot of witchy books around at the minute, like small town witchy ones, which I need to read more of because I've only really read this one, but I own quite a few. And I think this one is like a new coven comes to town that's rumoured to be dabbling in black magic, so the coven that's already there doesn't really like that, and our main character is like working to ascending into a main witch. I think one of the witches turns up dead at a ritual site and there's like a serial killer, so there is like a mystery plot in this as well. This is very good for people that like small town horror mysteries type of thing. You just want a bit of like witchiness in there. And lastly, one of my favourite subgenres to get into fantasy is cozy fantasy. I have worked up quite a collection. Here's a few that I recommend. Most recently, the one that I read is The Teller of Small Fortunes, which is hinted at an expanded world. I would love to learn more about this world, but because it's cozy fantasy, it's very easy to understand. It's not going to delve too deep into many issues. We're basically following around a fortune teller, and we're just going around different towns telling fortunes, picking up members along the way, and then she meets a reformed thief and his daughter's missing. She basically goes around helping him as well. Can't wait for more books to be released into this world. This one is a standalone, and that's The Bookshop and the Barbarian. Very small. Our main character buys a bookshop, gotta fix up her new bookshop and basically keep it open. Very much like Travis Baldry's Bookshops and Bone Dust. That moves on to my next one, which is Legends and Lattes, my ultimate favourite cozy fantasy. I love this book. We're following an orc called Viv who opens up a coffee shop, and coffee's like something that's no one's heard of in this world, so like it's very new to everyone. So she's got to do it up, and then she hires a chef to do pastries and stuff, and then there's a little romance between these two. There is a new book coming out in this world. We've got Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is a prequel to this, and then we're going to have one that's set after this with like all our characters coming together, so I'm really excited about that. And I think cozy fantasy is the best place to start in fantasy. Yeah, so that's all the books that I've got to recommend starting into fantasy. There is a lot more. This is just a little selection, so I might do like a part 2 video with more suggestions, and feel free to suggest more books in the comments. I'm always looking for more cozy fantasy recommendations. That's all the books I've got to talk about. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time I upload a video. Thank you. Bye.